Hey, welcome back to the English Talk podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Emma. Glad to be here with you today.
Emma, have you ever felt stuck? Like you have a million things to do, but you just can't seem to start?
Oh, definitely. I know what I should be doing, but instead I just sit there, scrolling on my phone or staring at my to do list.
Exactly. And the worst part? The longer you delay, the worse it gets. You start feeling guilty, which makes you even less motivated.
It's a frustrating cycle. You feel overwhelmed, then procrastinate, then feel guilty, and guess what? You procrastinate even more.
But here's the thing, feeling stuck isn't just laziness, there are real scientific reasons behind it. And the good news, there are ways to break free.
That's exactly what we're talking about today. In this episode, we'll explore why we feel stuck and how to get motivated again.
We'll break down the science of motivation, reveal simple strategies to regain momentum, and by the end, you'll have practical steps to finally move forward.
So if you've been feeling stuck or trapped in procrastination, stay with us, because we've got some game-changing tips for you.
Let's get started.
All right, so we all know what it feels like to be stuck. But why does it happen? Why do we sometimes feel completely unmotivated, even when we know what we need to do?
Great question. One big reason is mental overload. When we have too many tasks, our brain doesn't know where to start. It's like opening 20 tabs on your computer. Eventually, it just freezes.
That makes sense. The more overwhelmed we feel, the more we avoid doing anything at all.
Exactly. Another reason is lack of a clear goal. If we don't have a specific target, our brain doesn't know what to focus on, so it takes the easy way out, procrastination.
So instead of making progress, we just waste time on distractions?
Yes. And here's something interesting. Our brain actually tries to protect us from difficult tasks. It's called the pain-pleasure principle. When something feels overwhelming, our brain pushes us toward easier, more enjoyable things, like watching videos or scrolling through social media.
Wow. So my brain is actually tricking me into avoiding work?
Yep. And one more reason people feel stuck is perfectionism. If we believe something has to be perfect, we delay starting because we're afraid of failing.
That's so true. I've definitely avoided projects just because I didn't feel ready to do them perfectly.
Exactly. But the good news is, once you understand why you feel stuck, you can take steps to break free. And next, we'll talk about a simple but powerful way to regain motivation, starting with small wins.
All right, so we've talked about why we feel stuck, but how do we actually get out of it?
One of the best ways to regain motivation is by using small wins. Instead of waiting for a big breakthrough, focus on tiny victories that build momentum.
Small wins? How does that work?
It's all about tricking your brain into feeling successful. Every time you complete even a tiny task, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical that boosts motivation.
So instead of stressing about finishing a huge project, I should just start with one tiny step?
Exactly. For example, instead of saying, I have to write a 10-page report, start with, I'll just write the first sentence. That small action signals progress, making the next step feel easier.
That actually makes sense. When I set big goals, I feel overwhelmed, but when I break things down, they seem much more doable.
Right, and here's a great hack. Use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This helps build momentum and prevents procrastination.
So, small wins create a positive cycle that keeps me moving forward?
Exactly. And next, we'll talk about how shifting your mindset can make motivation even stronger.
That's a huge part of it. Many people stay stuck because they believe motivation has to come first. But here's the truth. Action creates motivation, not the other way around.
Wait, so I don't need to feel motivated before I start?
Nope. Think about it. Have you ever forced yourself to do something and after a few minutes you suddenly felt more motivated?
Yeah, like when I don't feel like exercising, but after I start, I actually want to keep going.
Exactly. That's because taking action tells your brain, hey, we're doing this. And it responds by giving you more energy and focus.
So instead of waiting to feel motivated, I should just start something, even if it's small.
Exactly. Another mindset shift is to focus on progress, not perfection. Too many people wait for the perfect moment to start, but that moment never comes.
I've definitely been guilty of that, thinking I need to feel ready before starting a big task.
And the truth is, you'll never feel 100% ready. But once you start, even in a messy way, momentum builds naturally.
That makes so much sense. So the key is to just take the first step, even if it's not perfect.
Exactly. And next, we'll share some simple actions you can take today to get unstuck.
All right, Emma, we've talked about small wins and changing our mindset. But what are some simple actions people can take right now to get unstuck?
Great question. Let's start with one of my favorites, the 5 minute rule. If you're struggling to start something, commit to doing it for just 5 minutes. After that, you can stop if you want, but most of the time, you'll keep going.
I love that. 5 minutes feels so much easier than saying, I have to finish this whole project.
Exactly. Another great trick is changing your environment. If you always work in the same place, try moving to a different spot. A small change, like sitting in a new room or even going outside, can reset your brain.
That makes sense. Whenever I go to a coffee shop, I feel way more productive than when I'm stuck at home.
Exactly. And here's another one: set ridiculously small goals. Instead of saying, I need to clean my whole house, say, I'll clean one shelf. Once you start, it's easier to keep going.
I like that. It's the same idea as small wins. Just getting started makes all the difference.
Yeah. And finally, reward yourself. When you complete something, even a small task, give yourself a mini reward, like a short break, a coffee, or even just a mental high five.
That's a great idea. So, to sum up, use the 5 minute rule, change your environment, set tiny goals, and reward yourself.
Perfect. And now, let's wrap this up with a final challenge for our listeners.
Wow, Emma. I never realized how small changes could make such a big difference in motivation.
Right? The truth is, motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. And once you start, even with tiny steps, momentum takes over.
So, let's do a quick recap. Today, we learned that feeling stuck happens because of mental overload, unclear goals, and perfectionism. But we can break free by using small wins, shifting our mindset, and taking simple action, like the 5 minute rule and setting tiny goals.
Exactly. And now we have a challenge for you.
That's right. We challenge you to take one small action today, just one. Whether it's writing the first sentence of that project, doing a 5 minute task, or simply moving to a new environment, just get started.
And then let us know in the comments, what small action did you take today? We'd love to hear how it helped you.
And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.